Hi everybody, Steve from Steve's Makerspace, and today we're in Scrap Mechanics Survival. I'll be showing you step by step how to make the 6-plot Spud farm automated no raid farm. I'll also show you how the logic goes with the crusher, and we'll go over a few details about farming and options for safe farming. Now in the last video we covered an 8-plot garden. Most of the seeds that I've got here are from my 8-plot garden, and I just went to the trading post and was able to have a huge flatbed full of vegetables to trade with, and that's all from this little garden right here. I do recommend you check out the Scrap Mechanic Wiki on farming. It has some good information, especially when the bots attack and how many bots attack for different farming values. You'll get no raids at a crop value of 9. And the crop value for the carrots, red beets, and tomatoes is 1, which means you can plant 9 of those and not get a raid. Potatoes are 1.5, which means you can plant 6 of those without a raid. Bananas, blueberries, oranges is a value of 2, which means you can do 4 without a raid. So I think it makes sense to do the carrots, red beets, tomatoes on this automated farm that I'm showing you, and the potatoes on a separate automated farm for the 6-plot. I don't think it makes sense to do it for the bananas, blueberries, oranges. I think it would be better just to have a larger farm with a crusher. But if you do that, I would recommend keeping your farm under the value where tape bots spawn. So tape bots spawn at 80 value, which means you can go up to 79 value. That would mean 79 carrots, tomatoes, or red beets, or 53 spuds, or 39 banana, blueberry, and oranges. That's how many you can safely plant. You still get tote bots and hay bots, quite a few, but your crusher should be able to handle that. Another option is to surround your farm with metal block 2 or the concrete block 2, which both have a durability of 6. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe the tote bots and the hay bots cannot get past a durability of 6. I don't know about tape bots, and I'm pretty sure that a farm bot can crush durability of 6. And then another option is to find a mesa to plant on where the bots can't get to your garden, or an island. I understand that there's an island somewhere where you can farm and there's no bots will spawn there as long as you are there at the time of the raid. So that's something I'm going to look for. But I do think having a small automated farm for your low value crops is a good idea. So let's get on with the Spud farm. These are carrots. I was just using them to test. Let me destroy one of these and you can see how it works. Boom, boom, water, and water. It waters a little more than it needs to, but it's only 6 plots. Water's free. So I'm going to deconstruct this and then reconstruct it step by step for you. But before I destroy the dirt, I want you to just get a shot of this pattern. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find some exactly level ground. If it's a little bit unlevel, then this isn't going to work. This has to be exactly level. Of course, you need to be near water, so you'll need a water container and a vacuum pump and a switch to turn it on if you don't already have that set up. Vacuum pump is going in. You hit E to change the direction here, and then you're going to be connecting this to your water cannon. We'll get to that later. And then in order for these two to be able to connect to each other, there has to be a physical connection. So in this case, I've got wood going up here, and I've got the wood coming underneath in order to come up to this post. So I'm going to show you how that works. So you don't absolutely have to go underground. You could put a free bearing right here and come up, but you would need to make sure that your arch going over the top clears any crusher that you build. But to go underground you would build a wall like so, and then cut out the excess, and now these two are connected with an L shape. And then you could continue that make another wall like so, and now you have those connected. Now if you have something where you need to connect this on a fairly level ground to something over here, you can go underground like so, and then remove the excess, and you have to kind of use your imagination like so, and then we'll place some dirt and make sure that we can place the dirt. And then to test it, to see if these are all connected, you can just have two things that connect to each other. And now you can see that I failed. They're not connected, so I need to start over. So these two are connected. Alright, let's try it again. Okay, let's go underground. I think I know what I did wrong. This has to be connected here. So let's just cut from here over to here. See if that works. Yep, so I see a blue dot, so those can be connected, and let's make sure we can plant our soil. So there we go. So that's how you build underground. But anyway, in this case, my garden is way over here. I already had a water container and a vacuum pump, and I didn't want to make another one because they're kind of expensive. So I used a stack of wood. You can have two small farms that are 256 blocks away from each other and still not trigger a raid. So this is going underground to here. So I've got my piece of wood. I'm going to go up 3 from here, and then a controller. Can't place the controller right there, so I need to at least have one block so I can get the controller up like that. I'm gonna have one more block up here. Let's get on my lift, and then I'm gonna come out 2 from there like that, and I'm gonna come up a couple and make a goalpost. And then I need a switch. We can get rid of that if you want. We'll connect that to here and this to here. And we're going to set this to 180 degrees. And also keep it on slow, and it's looping. Now let's get out our chests. I did consider using one chest in the center, and you would think it would work because it pulls seeds from the back, and then this is pulling into the front of the chest. So I thought it would make sense to just put the seeds towards the back and keep it loaded, and then it wouldn't shoot out your vegetables, but that's not the case. If you put vegetables and seeds in the same chest, it shoots out the vegetables. At least that was my experience. So you do have to use 2 different chests. Now there might be multiple ways to do this, but the way I've got it, I've got the chest upright in this position with this on the left side, but it's right in front of the blocks. Okay? So that's important for the planting side. The other side, for the sucker side, is not as important because the sucking can happen in a kind of a wide arc, but we'll do it in the same position anyway. So E to have that go up in, and this one is going out. So we've got that placed. Then we're going to also want to come out 2 blocks here, and let's place our water cannon like so, and then let's start placing our dirt. So the first one of course goes under here, and then we can advance this 60 degrees and then place the next one, and there is going to be a small gap in between each one. So the next one is 120, and you gotta look at it from both sides. Okay, and then you should look them over, and they should be in a certain pattern with a little gap in between each one. And then this water cannon should be above. We can put that back to 0. So now we can place our logic block here, and then we're going to need the sensor underneath that, so you can do a little wood in order to get the sensor underneath that facing this way. That's going to be set to 4, and then this is going to be a NAND. Then we need a timer on top of that, and another timer, and then another logic block, sensor to the NAND, to the timer, to the AND gate, to the vacuum pump, and then the NAND also going to the AND gate. Okay, so the timer that's going to the planter one is going to be a ½ second. This looks a little different because I'm making a correction from earlier, but you're going to do the timer to the other timer and set the second timer to 2 seconds, and then that timer goes to the water cannon. We need a switch going to the vacuum pump that's collecting the vegetables. So let's go ahead and hook up the water pump. I think that's it, except for the seeds. First off, I would recommend using some sort of throwaway seed, something you have abundance of before you use potatoes, assuming you don't have a lot of potatoes. And let's plant one as a test. The first one that you plant is sort of priming the system, and it's not going to get watered, so you're going to need to water that one by hand. And we'll turn this on, and we're going to watch it as it comes around. And what we want to see is the sensor comes on, and then this triggers. We're going to want something planted here, right? After that. And we should see there and there. Okay. Now, the other thing you want to do after you've planted all your soil is watch this sensor as it goes around the entire way, just to make sure that your soil is all completely level. If the sensor goes off from the soil, then you've got a problem. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and put in our test seed. Boom, boom, water, water. It's watering a little too much. Okay, it's done. In my garden over there, I didn't need this extra AND gate, and I don't understand. Apparently these are being triggered when the signal goes into the timer and when the signal comes out of the timer. That wasn't happening over there. It's the exact same setup, so I don't understand why that's happening now. But I'm fixing it by having the NAND and the timer both go into an AND gate so that this gets only one signal. So if we're happy, we can get rid of these. Let's see, and let's just leave one for now and put in the seed we actually want, which is our potatoes. And we'll start it up again. There we go. Let's get rid of this so it plants there. There, and then the water. Yeah, I don't know why it's watering twice, but water's free. Wandering bots, even though it doesn't trigger a raid, wandering bots could discover this and start whaling on it. So I would suggest building a crusher around it. Alright, I built a simple crusher around this. Make sure that the wall directly around the garden doesn't interfere with either your equipment or the sensor. Here I've got 2 logic gates, one set to NOR and a timer. I've got this set to 2 seconds. So this goes here and then comes back this way. You can have this on its own switch, or you can set it to the switch in the center post, although it'll be hard to turn off your crusher in that case. And the switch goes into the AND gate. And then any of these can go out to the piston. If you want this in the up position when it's off, you can use the nor rather than the and. I've got this just at a level 1 piston at 7. That should be good enough, but you could upgrade this if you want. So let's go ahead. I've got this actually not completely hooked up, and that should trigger it. There we go. We're going up and then come down and then up. I might need to add a little time to this because that doesn't give the bots enough time to actually try to get underneath. There we go. That should give them time to get into position to be crushed. And then be sure afterwards to cover up your logic and your piston so that the bots can't break them. But that's it. Fill this up with spuds and leave it. So if you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing to my channel, ring the bell for notifications. Comments are always welcome. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Steve's Makerspace.